I've just seen a robin out of my window. Sorry, he's gone now. Morning guys, I was going to do this one yesterday, but I needed a day to absorb the album I'm going to be talking about because Enter Shikari have released another album. I've never made a secret of the fact that they're my favourite band, so I thought I should talk about it because I quite enjoyed it. I think the main issues that I have, as you'll see with this album, are the sort of flow of it. I think some of the track list ordering could have been done better. There's one track that I just don't like at all. But you know, on the whole, I'm pretty happy with it. Go and listen to it now. Actually, you can't really do spoilers for albums, can you? Never mind. I'm going to talk to you about it, and then you can go listen to it. Either way. So track one was one that was sort of released as the fourth single from this album. It's called The Great Unknown. Shikari have always delivered historically strong openers. A Pill in the Mind Sweep 1 from their fourth album, The Mind Sweep, is one that sort of always sticks in my head. It's probably my favourite track of theirs, and this one's no exception. It's another great opener. It's probably my favourite standalone track. My other favourite track is one later on in the album that's sort of in two halves. If I had to give someone a single MP3 file, or whatever format people actually download music in nowadays, probably this one. Track 2 we've got is Crossing the Rubicon. It's a fine song by itself. The problem with Crossing the Rubicon is only that it's nestled between The Great Unknown and Dreamers Hotel, and between those two it sounds a bit weak. It's sort of this like synth pop track, and it's good. It's the chorus that I've probably had stuck in my head the most. Now we're crossing the Rubicon. But I do think it suffers from its position. I don't think it's like a second track, because you want like for that. But you know, yeah, on shuffle this song's quite good. Third track is The Dreamers Hotel. This was the first single that was released. It's one of the strongest cuts on the album, to be honest. Still, you can see why they chose to lead with it. This track doesn't mess about at all. It's pretty short. I think it's less than 3 minutes, but it does what it needs to do and gets out of there. Particularly love the vocal harmony in like the bridge. That's like classic Shikari, along with the like chorus guitars. They do the chorus guitars in a lot of bridges, I've noticed, and I sort of can't stop noticing it now I have, so sorry for pointing that out. Now we have Waltzing Off the Face of the Earth Part 1. This is the one that I was saying earlier that I just don't really like. The production just isn't really doing anything for me. Doing a waltz in any situation now always feels a bit clunky, but even when it sort of crescendos towards the second half of this song, it still just sort of plods along for me a little bit. If you like it, that's fine. But I can see this is a track that I'll probably end up skipping quite a lot. Modern Living up next, and this may be one of my favourites as well. It's sort of got like this Britpop sound, but then they've got these bass line and jump up drum and bass little noises that are sort of sprinkled throughout it. I think it's really fun. I think it's one of the most Shikari tracks on the album, and it leads really nicely into Alcoholics Anonymous, the next track, which again is like a shorter interlude type track. Really, this is just Modern Living Part 2. To be honest, I'm not totally sure why they're two separate songs. You could have just made one longer song, so I'm just going to pretend that they are one song. After that, we've got The Pressures On. This is again one of the ones that sort of falls a bit flat for me. I think the production could have done with a little bit of beefing up. I think on this particular song everything's so lost in the compression that just a lot of the punch is sort of lost. I will say though, it is designed for, you know, festivals and summer, and it's going to slap live. Everyone's going to be singing along. It's one of a few on the album like that, where it's clearly designed for massive sing-alongs, which I do not mind, but I wouldn't prioritise listening to this one, you know. The title of this next one is a little bit confusing, especially if you're not acquainted that well with the band's discography. It's Reprise 4. Reprise 1 to 3 were all on the American version of Take to the Skies, and this just sort of picks up from those. So this is a callback to a 13-year-old album. It's a bit like in the MCU where a character from your favourite franchise shows up in a film later on. It's like that. It's just a nice little callback. There is another one of those in Crossing the Rubicon, which kind of retrospectively gives that song a bit of a free pass, but it's one of the lines ends with Labyrinth, and then the synth from that old song Labyrinth plays, which again I think is just a little tidbit in there for the fans, but still, nice little nod. Reprise 4 then leads directly into Tina, which again is an absolute bop. Super high energy. It uses these like weird pitch vocals, which is kind of a new sound for them. I can't remember them having used that before, but it's a fun little addition. Yet another chorus which is going to be amazing in November with an arena full of people singing it. I hope to see you there. This next one I've sort of debated about. It's Elegy for Extinction. It's quite a nice little orchestral piece. Pretty much no performance input from any of the members of the band. And I think it may have worked as like an intro track or an epilogue, because it's a shame to discount it, but its placing here on the album for me really sort of kills the pacing of the album just stone dead. Again, it's good, but I think that some of the pacing could have been done better. Marionettes 1 and 2 I'm just going to talk about as a single song because it, again, basically is. It's like the earlier ones where I can kind of see why they split this one, because there is a bit of a shift, but it wouldn't have detracted at all if it was a single song. Either way, incredible. I think potentially the best track on the album. If you're going to listen to anything, stick on Marionettes. It's like pure Shikari. It's incredible. It's going to be excellent live. It's quite dance driven. There's like a really strong beat as well. I can only imagine what the stage show is going to be doing at this point. And yeah, this is the track that I've played the most so far. It's a fucking banger. Sorry for swearing. In part 2 as well, it sort of does the same thing as they did on their previous album with Revolt of the Atoms, which was a track that I liked, but I thought could have, you know, just been tightened up a little bit, and that's exactly what they've done here. Yeah, this is the track that sort of blew me away the most when I heard the album. Go and listen to it. Go! Satellite's up next, the second to last actual song on the album, and of all of the ones that sound a bit like their previous album, The Spark, this one's probably my favourite. It's got this really fun little that I think is just going to be fantastic live, along with the absolutely massive chorus. I think this was a song that they put out the day before the album came out, so on Thursday. I think Annie Mac played it on her show, and so I heard it then, and it was sort of the last thing I needed just to tide me over until the album came out. And yeah, it was just nice. It's kind of one of the most hopeful sounding songs on the album, which at the moment we fucking need, to be fair. Stick it on in your LMFAO party rock playlist and shuffle around your room. The final actual song on this one is called kษ์$, and yeah, it's grown on me. I didn't like it when it first came out as a single. I think the riff, the I think that falls a bit flat for me. They've said that they put loads of work into the drum production on this album. I don't know if this one just got missed off, but yeah, it's fine. The chorus is massive. Again, they might as well just trademark Big Shikari chorus as like a term now, because that is basically what this song is for. It's just window dressing for an absolutely massive chorus. So again, it's going to be great live. But I think that they know that they're a live band. Now that's the impression I get from this album, which, you know, I'm fine with, because I've seen them live at least once a year for the last 5 years. The last track is Waltz Off the Face of the Earth 2, which is much better than the first one. It's got like little electronic elements and some vocals and a bit of guitar. It sounds more like them as a band with orchestral elements, which, yeah, I'm a big fan of. I don't know why it's the closer. Maybe they should have used this one as an opener. I think that might have worked better. It's sort of a slow build and the album just sort of tails off because of it. So again, this is another great little track that is just sort of unfortunately falls victim to where it is placed on the album. Again, like I said at the top, I really enjoy this album. I just think some of the ordering could have been done better, and they could have got rid of the first Waltz track. Ultimately, it's better than the last album, The Spark, and they sound a lot more like the band that I really enjoyed over their first 4 albums. I'll stick a link to the Spotify for the album and the YouTube playlist that I think they've done downstairs now. If you can't listen on Spotify or YouTube, then I don't know how to help you. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you in the next one.